Estella asked Madame if the Countess Chess had arrived. Madame answered that they had arrived and guided her to the room. The room was nicely decorated, with a tea set ready on the table. She stood in front of the chesses and they bowed to her in the form of greeting. The madam excused herself from the room and wished them a pleasant time, while her inner thoughts asked, "Did something happen? The princess seems different from usual. Is this a part of her plan too? I suppose I just have to wait and see." Back at home, Estella and Isaac were having tea together. Estella thought, "Isn't he curious who I met? Aren't I smiling too much? If this were anyone else, they would ask who I met, or if something good happened. Aren't you supposed to ask those sorts of things?" While Estella ruminated on many things, Isaac only sipped tea silently. After some awkward, silent moments, Estella cannot keep her happy facade. She sighed and pondered, "I'm the one who suggested we have tea together 3 times a day, but I have no idea what to talk about. It's like I can never say the right thing." Although Isaac may seem calm on the surface while sipping tea, he also had many thoughts running through his mind. He wondered who she met. No, if he asks anything else, she will just get mad. She always hated that. Suddenly footsteps were stumping fastly towards them. The twins perked from below with longing eyes. "Mama, where were you?" asked Lou. Lucy said happily, let's play." Estella put her hand on each of her children's heads gently and thought back to her meeting with the Chesses. She learned a lot of things from them. She doesn't know why, but the law was changed, and reunion is even harder now than before. Recently, they said that you cannot overturn a decision once a divorce is approved, so if you want to reconcile, it will be difficult. And I'm sure you're aware, but there is a tax to pay as well, and you will be restricted from seeing each other for 3 years. Taxes? Estella asked. The Chesses replied, a reunion tax. And the mandatory period of time before the divorce is finalized can be extended 2 months before it ends. You know that the grace period can be extended, right? 2 months before it ends, but after that it cannot be extended, and things will proceed until the final verdict. But the most important thing, marriage requires careful thought, but divorce requires it even more. Especially if you have children. Estella asked, did you reconsider your own divorce for your children's sake, Lady Chess? Lady Chess said she did, but in the end that wasn't her deciding factor. Children cannot be happy in a house with unhappy parents. She had confidence she could raise them well alone. There's one specific reason she decided to take back her husband. He showed sincerity. Show your husband sincerity, and to do that, start by getting closer with your children. Lady Chess stated, if you show children love, they'll return the love in spades. Just treat them the same way you will treat any other person. Treat them with respect, manners, and love. While Estella was dazed, thinking of her meeting with the Chesses, her children called, Mama. Mama, let's play. Come on, let's play. Both her children spoke one after another. She teased, you want to play? The children beamed happily. Yeah, let's play house. It'll be great. Me and Lou will make you delicious food, exclaimed the excited Lucy. Lou took off from what Lucy said, me and Lucy. Mama and Papa. Let's play house. We'll make you something you like, Mama. The twins jumped up and down in excitement, while Estella thought Lucy seemed similar to me. She's just like me when I was little. Lou seemed to go along with what she wanted, so no matter what. Lou switched his arms up and down simultaneously and excitedly asked innocently, Papa, Papa, you too. Lucy looked up to her papa and said, Papa, play with us. Isaac is surprised by their enthusiasm. Stella invited him. Let's go, Isaac. Lucy said, I'll make you delicious food. Papa, you're the baby. Isaac scratched his cheek with his finger and asked, Lucy, don't you think I'm pretty big for a baby? Lucy shook her head and replied, No, no way. You're the baby, Papa. Lucy and Lou laid a blanket on the ground. They had it for Isaac to sleep on the blanket that barely is long enough for him. Lucy said, Babies are always lying down. Lie down here, Papa. They patted the blanket for Isaac to lay down. Estella wanted to laugh, but she held in her laughs. Lucy asked her to be the Nana. Estella chuckled and asked, Then who are you, Lucy? Lucy pulled Lou closer and replied, I'm the Mama, and Lou is the Papa. Okay, let's start. Lou patted Isaac's head gently and said there, There, sleep, sleep. While Lucy went to Estella and said, Nana. Lucy bowed and replied, Yes, madam. Are you feeling tired? While gently massaging Lucy. Lucy replied as she touched her shoulder like a tired person and said, I had work today. I'm exhausted. Lou went up to Lucy and called, Honey. Lucy smacked Lou's hand away and said, Don't bother me. And she walked past Lou. Lou turned around and called Honey, the baby. Lucy acted like she didn't care and complained, I'm tired. The act shocked Estella speechless. Lucy went up to Isaac and said, Gosh, Papa. You're the baby. You're supposed to cry. Estella thought, There's something off about this house. Lou called, Hey, Papa, why aren't you crying? I thought I already told you. At this point, Lucy is sweating and shaking nervously. Are they imitating Isaac and I? Estella suggested, Lucy, how about we go over there and make some macarons? Lou stated, I want to help too. Estella agreed and said, Okay, let's all go together. While watching the kids make food, Estella asked, Lucy, what were you going to say? When the baby cries, what does Mama Lucy say? Lucy looked up, pointed a finger at Estella and said, Nana, take care of the baby. I'm busy with work. Sweating nervously, Estella asked, Is that what Mama says? Lucy, we replied truthfully, Yeah. Estella slumped onto her knees and thought, Did I say things like that? Lucy turned to Estella and asked, Mama, are you crying? Estella could only mutter, I'm sorry, kids. The twins kneeled next to her and called out, Mama, Mama, don't cry. Estella replied guiltily, Mama isn't crying. She thought, haven't I always been so easygoing? I was always loved, and I loved Isaac so much. How could I have made so many mistakes in our marriage? I miss my father. I wonder if he knows his daughter is living out this miserable marriage. Isaac walked up to them and asked, What are you making that's taking so long, Lucy? Then he saw Estella's couch down onto her knees with her head down. Lou turned to Isaac happily and raised his arms for a hug, Papa, while Estella was still thinking how Isaac felt when he saw the way the kids' playhouse. He must have hated her. She is sure he's very hurt. Isaac held Estella's chin, guided it up to look at him. Why are you curled up? Isaac holding the plate, filled with play food, he brought the plate to Estella. The twins clung to Isaac as he presented the food to Estella. Lucy said happily, Mama, you try too. Estella grabbed the food and pretended to chomp on them while praising, Wow, it's fantastic. Really delicious. Lucy cheered excitedly and stated she and her brother will make more. Isaac watched the interaction with minimal expression. Back in the bedchamber, Estella gave the letter to her maid and asked the maid to have the letter sent to her father as quickly as possible. Isaac walked in to see this scene. He asked if she is sending a letter to her father. She replied, Yes, she would like to see her father. She also wanted to ask if there were any changes to the divorce laws. Isaac sighed and said he knew this day would come. Confused, she asked what's wrong. Isaac explained, the former king is currently in critical condition. What? The former king? She fists clenched. Yes, your father, King Benjamin, is in critical condition. He's alive, but he's unconscious. Shocked, she asked, Then the current king isn't her father? No, Isaac replied. She asked, Then why am I here? I am the sole successor to the Meshan kingdom. I have studied many things in preparation for succession since I was little. She had a flashback of when she was little. Her father put the crown on her and said she is the successor. Nana still called her princess, but she has family and lives with them in a place that isn't the palace. She just assumed her father was alive and well. She didn't inherit the crown, and she is here with Isaac? Estella asked Isaac, Then who is the current king? River Bertrand. Isaac replied, My godfather? Then that means that father. Estella wondered. Isaac answered, He's probably receiving treatment inside the palace. He's unconscious now, but he could wake up at any moment. Estella rang the bell and said to the maid, She will go to the palace tomorrow. She rested her forehead on her hands. With a concerned expression, she asked, Isaac, are you not going to tell me why I'm here? I'm the successor to the kingdom. So why is my godfather ruling? Isaac said, He's not sure, not sure if she will believe him. People call him a traitor. They said he sold his body to her in exchange for his life, that his parents were beheaded for conspiring to poison the former king, that the only reason he wasn't exiled like his sister was that he married her, and that's why he is there with her. His parents were falsely accused, but everything pointed towards them. The former king is in a coma, and no one knows when he'll wake up, nor who the culprit is. In any case, she will hear all about it when she goes to the palace, but he wanted to avoid the topic as much as he could, because she didn't know anything right now. Estella's hands trembled. That's all the more reason you should have said something. You could have brought it up at any time. It's already been more than a month. As long as you don't know anything, I can pretend not to know anything too. Estella stood up swiftly while slamming her hands on the table. Was this your plan all along? To forget everything and pretend everything is okay? But wouldn't that be good for you as well? She slapped him. Trembling, she cried, "How can you say that? Were you pleased that I suddenly become affectionate again? That we could forget about the divorce? How could you try to keep my father's illness a secret from me? I cannot imagine how foolish I must have looked in your eyes. My father is dying, and here I am begging you to give me another chance." Isaac looked shocked by her action. Estella asked, "You said you weren't sure if I would believe you? If I hadn't asked you today, when were you planning on saying anything? Between your parents, my father, the insurrection, your sister. I'm not as stupid as you think I am." His hand clenched and apologized. "I wasn't toying with you by avoiding bringing this up. I shouldn't have said what I said. I'm sorry. I didn't want to bring it up because I thought maybe things could change. You're different from the Estella I knew before. I thought this time you could really keep your words." After Isaac left, Estella collapsed in despair and questioned, "Where did things go wrong? I don't understand what Isaac is saying. I could keep my word this time? Was the former Margrave really executed under false accusations of treason? But for me to marry Isaac despite that, isn't that a sign of how much I loved him? Is there some other problem? Was everything he said true or not?" The next day, before taking off to the palace, Nana apologized for not telling Estella about the current situation. She planned to tell Estella once Estella gets accustomed, but in the end, Estella found out very abruptly. Estella told Nana it's not her fault, and her father is still alive. She would like to meet with her godfather and find out what happened with the right of succession. Estella contemplated. She told him she loved him, but she never bothered listening to his side of things. Not only that, she slapped him. It must have hurt and probably swelled badly. The carriage door suddenly opened and Isaac entered. "Let's go together," he suggested. She asked why. He stated, "There is no reason. He just wanted to go with her." She replied, she was just wondering. She might have hoped for a different answer. Once he sat across from her, he told her not to misunderstand the situation. He just doesn't want to hear that his wife fainted inside the royal palace. They shared some awkward moments. Estella apologized for slapping Isaac last night. He replied, "It's all right." He was not proud of his action either. She leaned in closer and gently touched his swollen cheek. She asked if he put ice on it. He replied no. She stated he should. His handsome face is all swollen. Isaac held Estella's hand and, startling her, but he pulled her hand back to his cheek while gazing at her. She blushed as a result of his action. He told her that her hand is cold. Estella replied that her hands are always cold. He replied, he knows. Lucy took after her. On their way to the palace, Estella asked if everything Isaac said last night was true. He answered firmly, yes. She reconfirms if he is certain that his parents were falsely accused of conspiring to poison her father and executed for it, and his sister is called Alina? Right. He answered, did I not believe you before? Is that why we stopped getting along? Did I really marry you in exchange for your life, like you said? No, that's not it. Our relationship wasn't always so rocky. We lived peacefully at first, but things soured suddenly. The attempt to poison the king, the insurrection, and tax evasion all pointed to my parents. Lily Bertrand and I got divorced, unsurprisingly. Grand Duke Bertrand tried to help with the investigation, but the judiciary really pushed it along. And then you showed up. You were 19 at the time, and you approached me. You said you found everything that happened to my father odd and suggested we reinvestigate. Before I could face the death penalty, we got married and I changed my last name. Estella realized why Lou and Lucy had her last name. Isaac explained more. They intended to reopen the investigation, but she ended it. She closed the investigation, and his parents were branded traitors. I closed the investigation? She questioned. Yes, and then you sent Alina out of the country. She was the only person who could testify to my father's innocence. This all happened while you were carrying Lou and Lucy. It was after that we stopped getting along. Saddened by what the future her did, she apologized and promised she wouldn't do anything to deceive or betray him this time. Finally, they arrived at the palace. Isaac helped Estella down the carriage. She glanced at the palace, and some things certainly had changed. There used to be rose bushes and fountains. The royal guard greeted Estella. She told them she's there to check on her father's conditions and see her godfather. The royal maid gladly guided the way to the former emperor's chamber. Estella stated she wanted to see her father first, and she will go see her godfather herself afterward. Inside the former king's chamber, laid quietly, all skinny and pale, was the former king. Is he really still alive? The doctor tending to the former king stated, Yes, Your Highness. He is breathing. Her hand trembled and shook. She found it hard to believe. Her father was so thin. How's the treatment going? The doctor replied, They are doing their utmost to take every avenue of treatment possible, so she does not have to worry too much. Everyone left the room and gave space and privacy for Estella to be with her father. Once everyone left, she held her father's hand and spoke to him. Father, it's me, your lovely Estella. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I didn't come to see you until now. I'm so immature. I'm so sorry, Father. Please, please, open your eyes, Father. She only started thinking of him when she was in trouble. Those strong, warm arms that used to lift her up aren't there anymore. How did her father get so thin? After some time, Estella came out of the room, tears still forming on her eyes. I'm sorry. I kept you waiting. I've sorted through my emotions now. But she started sobbing again. She couldn't help herself. The flustered Isaac could only try to help stabilize Estella. While sobbing, she thought of how much her father did for her. She never even thought about the fact that she didn't have a mother. His kind voice, his warm embrace, even his nagging. Will she never get to experience them again? They're really gone. The more she thought, the harder she cried. Isaac silently embraced Estella while she wailed out her emotions. After some time, he handed her a handkerchief to wipe her tears and snot. She told herself she needed to pull herself together. She still has things to do. If the former Margrave was not the culprit, it means someone else is. And to that end, she needs to see her godfather. The current acting king greeted Estella cheerfully. Estella sighed in relief that he's the same as ever. He was her father's close friend. They attended the academy together. He was willing to accept the role of godfather for her. He treated her like his own daughter. He told her to visit often, and then nagged. Her eyes were all red. Was she crying? She asked him, How has he been doing? Her godfather hugged. She told him she is sorry to visit so suddenly. There's something she wanted to talk to him about. He replied, There is nothing to apologize for. The palace is hers too. She is more than welcome at any time. River Bertrand greeted Isaac, and Isaac greeted him in return. He cleared his throat and asked Estella what she wanted to talk about. She stated there are too many people and they should go in for some privacy. Inside the office room, River Bertrand asked what Estella wanted to talk about that is so secretive. Estella explained that she lost all her memories from after she was 19. Her last memory was of Isaac and Lily's wedding, which shocked River Bertrand. He laughed and dismissed that she is always quite a jokester. She was quiet for a while, but now, She tried to pull the wool over his eyes again. Isaac concurred with Estella's statement that she cannot remember anything from after she was 19 years old. She misstepped and fell into a pond. They think she hit her head. River Bertrand asked shockingly. Estella nodded in agreement. That's why she needed to know what happened after Lily and Isaac's wedding to the current situation. She heard about the Diaz family, but her father is in critical condition, and she didn't inherit the throne. She wanted to know what happened. River Bertrand asked Isaac to step out. Isaac complied and quickly stood up that he would be waiting. In the room with just the two, River Bertrand said, in order to protect Isaac, Estella agreed to pass the crown on to him. River Bertrand explained that it was to gain judicial power. Estella thought, in this kingdom, the monarch does not have any judicial power. One can provide opinions but cannot give direct orders. However, the rule doesn't apply for princesses or princes. Is that why she gave up the throne? River Bertrand said, if she is prepared, he can return the throne to her at any time. At the time, she wanted to continue looking into the Diaz's case, so he understood why she wanted to hand things over to him. River Bertrand reconfirmed if it's true she lost her memories. She said yes, everything after from 19 years old. He asked, will it ever come back? She said, the doctor is not certain. He said she must be shocked. From her point of view, it's like her father entered this condition overnight. Estella stated, that is true, but she is relieved that he, her godfather, was around. She asked if he truly believed that Margrave Diaz was the perpetrator in her father's case. Certainly not. He replied. She stated she wanted to agree with him and Isaac is confident it wasn't his father. All she heard so far is his side of the story. She doesn't know any details. But it is certainly strange for the entire investigation to come to a conclusion in 4 days. She found it hard to believe she ended the investigation too. Does he know why she would do something like that? River Bertrand sighed and said it's hard to say. It's been a while since he rose to this position and lost his judicial power. He asked how she and her husband are getting along. She replied with uncertainty of how they are getting along. River Bertrand stated, this might not sound good, but, as her godfather, the moment she told him that she couldn't remember anything past 19, he honestly thought it might be better for it to stay that way. These 7 years have been difficult for her. Between everything going on with her father, and the fact that her marriage hasn't been all that happy, there wasn't a day her eyes went dry after she gave birth to the twins. Lily and him were worried about her and came to see her, but she always had a vacant look on her face. As she recovered from childbirth, she started to go outside more, but both her and Isaac were hurt very deeply. To be honest, he is relieved that she doesn't remember all the sadness. Estella, do you love Isaac? He asked Estella not yes. River Bertrand asked for her to just forget about all the pain and live happily together with Isaac. That's what her father would want too. Estella stood up and said, but, as you know, Isaac and I are in the middle of getting a divorce. And apparently, it was me who asked for the divorce. Isaac really loved you. You just need to show him your sincerity, suggested River Bertrand. Estella replied, I suppose you're right. River Bertrand answered, of course, I am. You're Estella, the light of the Masons, the child beloved by all. Never forget that you are our light, our beloved child. Estella lightened up and hugged her godfather happily, although the face on her godfather said otherwise. He had a menaced look, and with a fake concern, he said, Estella, please, whatever it takes, be happy. Thank you, godfather, she replied. He asked if she intended to investigate what happened. Estella replied for the time being, she wanted to focus on reconciling with Isaac. The incident hurt all of them very much. River Bertrand agreed that she was right. There was no rush. Though he is concerned that she lost her memory, but now she is all grown up, and said there's not much he can do about it. She answered, though she might look grown up on the outside, but she is still a 19 years old Estella. Estella told her godfather, thank you. She is feeling much better. After she saw her father, she didn't know what she was going to do. With that, she kissed him on the cheeks and said we'll visit often. River Bertrand replied for her to do so, and he prayed that her relationship with Isaac and the twins would improve. Estella walked out thinking she wanted to take everyone to see her father too, but she had flashbacks of what her godfather told her. When she was 7, she went to a fortune teller and burst into tears. Ever since then, she's never gone to another fortune teller. Her father's condition is probably too much for her children to handle at this age. Estella thought Lucy and Lou would probably have a hard time seeing their grandfather like this. She cannot ignore her godfather's advice. She owes him so much. She has no choice but to put her faith in the renowned doctor treating her father. She met Isaac and apologized for keeping him waiting for so long. They walked out and got in the carriage. Estella looked at the palace one more time. While going back home, Isaac asked what she talked about with her godfather. She said they just caught up. They talked about things like judicial power and giving up the crown. Isaac automatically was concerned about her. He reached out his hand instinctively but thought, what is he doing? Seeing her tears made him weak. He cannot give in so easily. She never cared about the kids. All she ever did was leave him at home and go to parties with other men, shamelessly collecting jewels from her lovers. When she stayed home, she would lock herself in her study all day long, doing God knows what. And if he dared to enter, she exploded. His no-good wife. The only thing that's changed was she lost some memories. But she tells him she has feelings for him again, and he let his guard down just like that. Isaac sighed in frustration for giving in so easily. Because Estella was sad, that was the first time he saw her cry like that. It was a comfort anyone could have provided. That's all it was. And that's the end of it. Estella, seeing his frustrated expression, asked with concern if he is feeling all right. Her concerns jolted him out of his deep thoughts. Estella stated that she'll have to request a reinvestigation from the Magical Crime Unit of the Judicial Department. This statement surprised Isaac. She told him it may take a while, so they have to see it through to the end this time. Will he agree to look into things with her? Afraid he might think she has a hidden agenda, she clarified that she was not trying to make herself look better. Her grandfather said he would do everything he could to help, so before she could finish explaining herself, Isaac answered that he is sure that her godfather will. But he's pretty busy getting ready to leave the country with the kids, and the kids are his top priority, so he cannot devote that much time to a reinvestigation. Feeling anxious, she asked if Isaac needed to prepare for the departure that soon. IT felt kind of early, and they're not even sure if they will get divorced. If he is not sure yet, it's okay. Estella begged him to not avoid her. She'll do her best. A few days later, back in Estella's workroom, she received a message from River Bertrand, her godfather. She decided not to delay and wrote a response. In her letter, she told him not to worry about the reinvestigation. She had decided to prioritize Isaac and her children for now, and she is yet to regain any memories. Plus, she is planning on taking a holiday with her family. After completing her response, she asked a servant to send the letter. Estella's gut instinct didn't feel good about telling her godfather about this, but he had always treated her like a real daughter. So, why is she hesitating? Her thought was soon interrupted by some knocks on the door. As soon as she answered, her children came rushing in. Lucy and Lou both asked her to play with them. Surprised, Estella asked what they were doing in her office. Where was Nana? And where was their papa? Lucy answered cheerfully that Papa was talking with the butler. Lou stated that playing with Nana is no fun, while Lucy readily agreed and chimed that Nana is sleeping. Estella's inner thought couldn't blame Nana. She can imagine how rough it was keeping up with the two troublemakers. She knelt down to the children and told them she would play with them, which instantly won their enthusiasm. While holding the children's hands out to the garden, she noticed how tiny their hands are. Estella asked herself again, did she really give birth to these kids? Flashback to when she had a crush on Isaac, she imagined what it might be like for them to have kids together. What could have happened to have changed her so much? Was it her father's accident that made her cold-hearted? The children led Estella to the glass house. As they approached the door, Estella asked her children why they only play in the glass house. Lucy answered that it was her who told them it's dangerous outside. Confused, she asked if she really did. Thinking to herself, how dangerous can it be? Lucy answered, yes, that she only let them play in the glass house. Estella asked if they liked playing in the glass house. The children looked at each other cheerfully. Lucy answered, "Yeah, there are flowers and dirt and a lot to play with." Lou nodded in agreement while Lucy suggested they do a picnic. With that, the children dashed away while instructing Estella to wait for them. They will bring the food. Watching the children retreating back, Estella thought she's having déjà vu. She yelled after the children to be careful and not fall. After a while, the children came back with a pair of dirt bunnies on a plate, proudly showcasing their masterpiece. Estella took a bunny and praised the children. She noticed how the children seemed to be in a good mood today, especially Lou, who was smiling a lot. The children high-fived each other, praising themselves for doing a good job. After a moment, Lucy stared at Estella admiringly. Estella asked why her daughter was staring at her. "Is there something on her face?" Lucy answered, "No, you're pretty, Mama," while reaching out her hand to stroke Estella's cheek. Lucy stated that she loves playing with her mama and asked her brother, Lou, if he felt the same. Lou answered happily that he also loves it too. Estella was startled. Before she lost her memories, she was cold, and ever since she lost them, she has been awkward with them. But despite that, they love her so much. If they can be happy with a mother as inadequate as her. Estella held onto Lucy's tiny hand and told her son and daughter she hasn't been able to play with them very much. She is sorry for that. From now on, she will do her best to play with them as much as she can. Excited, the children jumped in joy and asked multiple times if she really meant it. Estella confirmed back several times, "Yes, really." Soon, Lucy started sniffing, which also saddened Lou. He patted her shoulder and told her not to cry while holding back his tears. Estella asked why is she crying? Lucy is only 4 years old, and she cries at the idea of her mother playing with her. How much must they have missed her to react this way? Estella apologized to her children. She should have treated them better. Feeling guilty and upset of the future her, Estella covered her face and chastised her future self for being so terrible. She sincerely is sorry to them. The children hugged her and consoled her not to cry. Estella went into self-blame, unable to stand her older self. Why would she do so many awful things? She couldn't even recognize how precious the people who love her are, and how priceless they are. She came to a firm resolve that she'll get down on her hands and knees and apologize. She will change Isaac's mind and give the children all the love they deserve. She hugged her children tightly in her embrace and promised herself that the love she couldn't give them before, she'll show them just as much love as they've shown her. Estella promised her children that from now on, all of them, including Papa, are going to go to lots of places and have fun together. Both children exclaimed excitedly of the thought. She asked her children what would they think if Mama and Papa were to split up. Lucy replied that they would hate it while Lou sobbed and said he didn't want that. Estella stroked Lucy's cheek gently and confessed that she made a big mistake with their Papa. So their Papa hates her now. He said he is going to leave. Lucy answered that if she made a mistake, she would get in trouble. Estella chuckled and stated that she is going to make it up to their Papas soon. Do they want to help her? Curious, Lucy asked how they can help her. Estella said they both can help Papa to forgive her. She cannot do it without them too. Lucy crossed her arms, confused why would Mama need them to, as Mama can do anything. Estella hugged her children and told them that this time is different, so they have to help her this time. That is the only way she'll be able to do it. Their Mama is weak this time and cannot do it alone. Lucy questioned her weaknesses. Estella answered that she is very weak. That's why she needed their help because them two are very strong. Lucy exclaimed confidently that she is super strong. So Lou and her will protect Mama. Estella thanked her children. That made her very happy. Lou didn't want to be outdone. He nudged Estella and told her that he is strong too. He will help her also. Mother and children are on the same page and ready for action. Estella told her children that they will make sure their Mama and Papa stay together. The children cheered happily, full of enthusiasm and agreement. Estella assured her children that with their help, Mama and Papa will not divorce. Mother and children are all riled up, happily being little cupids for their parents. They all high-fived together. An imagination scene was formed. On the bar counter, Lucy acted as an adult bartender, serving a drink to Isaac, and stated that the lady over there sent the drink while the lady over there winked at Isaac. Their imagination was interrupted when a person entered the glass house. Estella turned around and noticed that Isaac had entered. Flashback to a few hours earlier in the twins' bedroom. Isaac was sitting on the edge of the bed watching the twins play. Lucy was observing a set of dolls and stated that they had to throw it away. Lou was hesitant because he loves the pair of dolls. Lucy suggested that they can ask for new ones. Isaac thought to himself that his son really liked that doll as it resembles Estella, his mother. Lou sobbed and said he misses Mama. Lucy asked him if he is a baby. Lou answered that he is not. It's just that he misses Mama. He loves her, and she is not scary anymore. Lucy also agreed. She, too, loves Mama. This instantly brightened up Lou's mood. He confirmed with her that Mama is not scary anymore, to which Lucy readily agreed with him. Lou asked Lucy's opinion if Papa is scared of Mama. Lucy didn't know, so she suggested they ask their Papa. The kids turned to Isaac and asked him if Mama has been nice lately. Lucy liked Mama a lot lately. She pointed at Lou and stated that he is nodding in agreement too. Isaac pondered and answered that Lou just agrees with everything she said. The twins looked at each other and Lucy denied Isaac's statement. This time, Lou was the first one to say it. Isaac scratched his head and asked how they ended up talking about their mother. He thought they were talking about fixing the dolls. The children countered that they can talk about their mama if they wanted to, which rendered Isaac speechless. He doesn't know what to say. Estella suddenly told him that she traveled in time to get there. And since that day, she has made many demands as she pleases, from his parents' investigation to his immigration to divorce, all the while claiming it was time travel, like some kind of magic out of fairy tales that don't even exist anymore. But seeing the face she made when she saw King Benjamin's sickbed, for just a moment, he wondered if it's really true. Did she really come from the past? And if she did, where did the Estella who used to be there go? Many things can really be different this time. Maybe he can really believe in her. Isaac's thought was suddenly interrupted by a butler. The butler reported that he has what Isaac requested. Looking at the beaming children with sparkly eyes as they wait for their father's opinion, Isaac couldn't bring himself to tell them that he doesn't know yet. He still cannot trust their mama, and they should be more worried about moving. But if he said that, Lou would burst into tears and Lucy would put him through the ringer with questions. Isaac had flashbacks of the past. Despite the way things are right now, before Estella changed, they used to argue constantly about the kids. Ever since they were little, Estella hated the idea of letting them go outside. As a result, the kids have never left the estate. One day, one of the maids took the children outside. She faced serious punishment from Estella and disappeared. After that, the maid started to grow fearful of Estella. In the end, Isaac could only tell the children that he'll call for their Nana, so they should keep playing and he'll be back. With that, Isaac left with the butler. While walking to their destination, the butler reported that the person was an important figure in the drug trafficking that took place 7 years ago. It was largely illegal drugs. Apparently, the person sold it to many criminals. The butler further emphasized that unlike other drugs, this particular drug was undetectable and had no taste or scent when taken. They were difficult to detect even with silver. At the time, the drug seller tried to flee the country and was caught right away. It seems he started up business again, and they got him right in their clutches. As soon as Isaac went inside the cell room, the tied-up imprisoned man started denying his crime. He repeatedly swears that he does not know anything and have nothing to do with the drug. The butler countered back for the imprisoned man to stop spouting lies. They cannot believe that he does not know anything about the drugs. The imprisoned man repeated that he really does not know. He swore his life on it. He didn't know anything. They should just kill him. He's innocent. As soon as the butler was going to throw a punch at the imprisoned man, Isaac stopped him and mentioned the imprisoned man's family, whether his family has been caught. This startled the man. Isaac asked the imprisoned man, who told him to keep his mouth shut. If his family has been caught, he will do what he can to help, but that all hinges upon the man's cooperation.